I have been sold like a brood mare. I've been shamed and betrayed, raped and defiled. Do you know what kept me standing through all those years in exile? Faith. Not in any gods. Not in myths and legends. In myself. I am Daenerys Targaryen. The world says that when a Targaryen is born, the gods flip a coin. Tween side is greatness, the other is madness. I once thought I had grasped the side of greatness. It was not until the end that I realized the coin had spun in the air for far too long, and when it finally landed, it shattered everything. Who could have imagined that, before reaching the pinnacle of power, I was once as humble as dust, for the sake of over 40,000 Dothraki horsemen? My brother Viserys sold me like a beast of burden to Khal Drogo. That mountain of a man had such greed in his eyes, as if he wanted to devour me alive. When I begged my brother to take me home, what was exchanged for it was only an extremely humiliating reply.
I would let his whole tribe fuck you. All 40,000 men and their horses too, if that's what it took.
At that moment, something inside me died. Was the last flicker of hope I held for family affection. Amid the boundless Dothraki sea of grass, I learned to hold back my tears, for they were a sign of weakness. I refused to be a frightened rabbit any longer, nor did I want to remain a passive commodity to be traded. I started to look for the initiative inside the tent, transforming from a princess waiting to be sold to a Khaleesi. While gaining power, I also fell in love with that wild man, and by his side I found a sense of belonging I had long been denied. But this drove Viserys to the brink of madness. He could not bear the fact that his once docile, controllable sister was now revered by thousands, while his claim to be a true dragon had been reduced to a mocked beggar king.
Why did you hit her?
How many times do I have to tell you? You do not command me.
I wasn't commanding you. I just wanted to invite you to supper.
What's this?
It's a gift. I had it made for you.
Dothraki rags. Are you going to dress me now?
Please.
This stinks of manure. All of it.
Stop. Stop
You would
it.
turn me into one of them, wouldn't you? Next I want to braid my hair.
You've no right to a braid. You've won no victories yet.
You do not talk back to me.
Jealousy clouded his reason. He even drew his sword in the sacred city, pointing it at the child in my womb, threatening Drogo to trade this for a crown. In response, Drogo gave him the golden crown he had so craved, the crown forged from molten searing gold.
Daddy, please! Crown for king.
Watching my brother fall amidst agonizing screams, the gold cooling upon his skull, not a single tear fell from my eyes. In that moment I understood he was no true dragon, for fire cannot kill a dragon. Yet fate allowed me no time to catch my breath. The fleeting relief following my brother's death vanished in an instant. To avenge the slaughter of her people by Drogo, the witch used dark magic to steal my child. Yet for my husband she left a fate crueler than death, a soulless empty shell to safeguard the last shred of the Khale's dignity. I covered his mouth and nose with my own hands, granting the great lord of the grasslands his final freedom. In that desolate, silent wasteland, all I had left were 3 dragon eggs. I prepared to step into Drogo's funeral pyre with them. This is not merely a reckless gamble, but a calling deep within the blood.
I am the dragon's daughter, and I swear to you that those who would harm you will die screaming.
Everyone thought I had gone mad, that I would be reduced to ashes. But when the first ray of dawn pierced the darkness, I stood unscathed amidst the embers. Drogon perched on my shoulder and let out a hiss. I knew this was no miracle. It was the Targaryen bloodline dormant for a century, finally awakening. With 3 newly hatched dragons, I crossed the red wasteland. In the house of the Undying, I beheld the illusion of that snow-dusted yet unattainable Iron Throne. It was a warning from fate, but at that time I saw it only as an obstacle to overcome. In order to get an army that can take me home, I crossed the vast ocean to Slaver's Bay. In Astapo, I let dragonfire consume greed, and granted the unsullied the right to choose. In Yunkai, I was hailed as Maisa by thousands of slaves, was the moment I came closest to my ideal. Yet, on the road to Meereen, the 163 enslaved children who were crucified on the milestones seared my eyes like hot iron and ignited a raging fire within me.
I'll tell our men to ride ahead and bury them. You don't need to see this.
You will do no such thing. I will see each and every one of their faces. Remove her collar before you bury her.
My goal was not merely to reclaim the throne, but to shatter all chains in this world. After being reborn amid the smoke of battle in Meereen and the sea of fire in the Dothraki holy city, I led my vast army across the narrow sea, believing I was finally sailing to the shores of glory. Yet this ancestral land I had long cherished in my dreams offered nothing but bitter, piercing winds and endless suspicion in return. And there, in the cold, gloomy great hall of Dragonstone, Jon Snow, who refused to kneel before me when we first met, God knows how devastated he was inside when he heard my title.
You stand in the presence of Daenerys Stormborn of House Targaryen, rightful heir to the Iron Throne, rightful Queen of the Andals and the First Men, protector of the Seven Kingdoms, the Mother of Dragons, the Khaleesi of the Great Grass Sea, the Unburnt, the Breaker of Chains.
This is Jon Snow. He's king in the north.
Even so, for the sake of that northern king called Jon Snow, for the so-called survival of all mankind, I still slowed my conquest steps and brought the dragons north to resist the legendary Night King and the White Walkers. However, the cost was grievous. The Night King again spear-pierced Viserion's throat. As I watched my child plummet into the icy lake, my soul felt torn apart in that moment. It was that shared suffering that made me think in the frozen wasteland that I had found a lover with whom I could entrust my life.
Thank you, Danny.
Danny.
He was the last person who called me that. I'm not sure, was it my brother? Not the company you want to keep.
All right. Not Danny. Now about my queen. I'd bend the knee.
What about those who swore allegiance to you?
They'll all come to see you for what you are.
With that faith, I followed Jon to Winterfell to face the long night amid mountains of corpses and seas of blood. Jorah, my most loyal protector, rolled his last drop of blood to save me. Yet dawn has come, but there is no cheer that belongs to me. At the victory banquet, people gather around and hail their King of the North, while I remained a forgotten outsider. Jon in true parentage, in particular, was like an unhealable rift, casting me utterly onto an isolated island. Even as a victor, that piercing cold made me unwilling to stay a moment longer. I marched my army south, determined to reclaim what was rightfully mine, but encountered even deeper despair in the waters of Dragonstone. A cold arrow pierced Aragorn's chest. Another of my children fell to the sea. But this was not the end of the nightmare. Cersei had captured my gentlest and dearest friend, forcing me to march upon King's Landing. I had come hoping to barter for a final peace, yet all I received was a blatant provocation.
If you have any last words, now is the time.
Dracarys!
From atop those towering city walls, I could do nothing but watch as Missandei's head plummeted to the ground. Her last cry before death, Dracarys, burned away the last shred of mercy in me, igniting the embers of vengeance in my heart. Since this land refuses to give me love, then I shall make them feel fear. When the bells of King's Landing ring out, they are a signal of surrender, which is already too late. I urge Drogon to dive down, and dragonfire bursts forth. The streets turn into a purgatory. Soldiers, commoners, buildings. Everything vanishes in my rage. I want them to know what the cost is to rouse a dragon. When all falls silent, I walk into the shattered Red Keep. What drifts down from the sky, I know not if it is snow or ash. There, amidst the ruins, stands the Iron Throne, forged from 1,000 swords. It is the ultimate symbol of power, the obsession of my entire life. Broken as it is, it still brims with magic. I reach out to touch its cold armrest as if brushing against the fate of House Targaryen over centuries. I turn to see Jon approaching, looking at him. My heart still aches, and love still lingers. I try to paint for him that grand future, a world without slave masters. I tell him that though some must die, it is for the freedom of many more. We must not stop because of the blood on our hands. I thought he would understand, after all we had once fought side by side.
How do you know it'll be good?
Because I know what is good. And so do you.
I know.
You do. You do. You've always known.
What about everyone else? All the other people who think they know what's good.
They don't get to choose.
You are my queen. Now. And always.
When we kissed, the cold dagger pierced my chest. In that moment, time seems to freeze. I feel no sharp pain. I only felt an icy coldness to the bone, along with an indescribable sense of shock and sorrow. I didn't even have time to ask that one question. Why? So the last person to betray me is the one I love the most. Drogon's mournful roar shakes the heavens. Its fury melts the Iron Throne, that symbol of endless strife and slaughter. It carried my body and soared toward the eastern sky.